I embrace this clarifying moment. I appreciate this clarifying moment. Because what you're going to discover is you can have this lovely dance, mostly on the high-flying disc. But even on the high-flying disc, there are going to be more things that you're asking for. Because this is an inevitable fact of the eternal beingness that is you. You are never, ever going to get it done. Ever. There's never going to be a moment in time that new desires are not pulsing from you. And so there's never going to be a time that there is not a potential gap between what you're doing right now and who you've actually become. As you embrace that, as you accept that eternal nature, as it's all right for you when you're in a step one moment, and as you're appreciating the step two moment that Source is doing, as we have that wonderful wind at your back, as you acknowledge that step one and step two have already taken place, as someone said so brilliantly just now, without even your conscious awareness or notice of it in many cases. But you are putting your undivided attention upon step three, which is getting on that high-flying disc. People who are watching you are going to begin to come to you wanting to know what you have figured out. What is it that you are doing differently? And we would encourage you to keep it really general and really light with them. We would say things to them such as, I just decided to chill more. I've just decided to get a better night's sleep. I've just decided to get up in the morning and get off on a better foot. I've just decided to direct my thoughts toward more things that feel good. And I've discovered what a magnificent world this is. I love this world and all of the people in it. And I'm finding so many things in every day to praise and appreciate. And I think that's what's made the difference for me. And little by little, your paradigm shift will spread outward until others are experiencing their paradigm shift. But that will make no difference to your world because you have already firmly planted yourself on the high-flying disc. So you're going to live happily ever after anyway, you see. But once you have firmly implanted yourself on that high-flying disc and others are observing you and you're wisely explaining what you are doing, simply stating it, more and more and more of this magnificent world will join all of us on that high-flying disc. And what could be fun, more fun, than more having more fun? There isn't anything that's broken. And anyone that's not on the high-flying disc, even if it's you, nothing's gone wrong with that. It's all part of the clarifying process. So we don't want to leave you in this place of judgment or evaluation about you or anyone else and what disc they're on. But we do think it's nice to have a preference that you understand that you have some measure of control about. And we believe that in this moment you do. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, you may not remember very much of this. But after 2 or 3 days of doing the one simple thing of reaching for that high-flying disc, your own personal life is going to demonstrate for you over and over and over again all of the components of what we talked about here today. It's going to be a really wonderful month coming up, and the month following that even better. Because once the manifestations start rolling in response to the new pipes that you have laid, then it becomes even more fun because the manifestations reinforce what you know. The better it gets, the better it gets. So we leave you with one last encouragement. Don't flaunt any of this to anyone. Just be the happy person that you are and let law of attraction rendezvous you with those who get that, who understand that. We promise you, you didn't come to figure this out so that you could take others who don't understand it to a place of understanding it. Just for a month, you understand it. Later on, when you're really stable, when there's no chance of wherever they are moving you from where you are, then you can have your teaching moments. One last thing. You're really going to like this. The only moment that is an effective teaching moment is when you are on the high-flying disc and so is your student. When you do something in order to affect that, then the fact that it hasn't yet been affected gets in your way. When you do something not to accomplish that or not to affect that, but because it just feels good to do it, now you're on the right path. It's the motive. It's the motive that gets in the way. I'm loving you because I'm supposed to. Or I'm doing this because it will accomplish that. I'm going to work because work brings me money. And then the money will make me happy. So backwards. I'm working for the joy of interacting with others. I'm working for the fun of my own personal expansion. I go to work because it's nice to interplay with others. I like to have a point of focus because I like the expansion of my being. And oh, by the way, all this pleasure is also producing dollars. Almost nobody that you know in human form is pure about the subject of physical well-being. You've heard too much, you've seen too much, you know too much, you have weighed the pros and the cons of too many conditions, you've evaluated too much, there's too much that's active in your vibration for it to be that simple, you see. But sometimes, when you powerfully want something, your desire can override your belief if your belief is soft enough to allow it, you see. You have to distract yourself from hindering beliefs. So you have to goose up the beliefs that help and play down the beliefs that don't help, a little bit at a time. And you've been doing that. That's why you have been receiving steady improvement. Not quick, but steady. And that is enough, you see. But when you grow impatient, in that feeling of impatience, then you're shifting a little. In that feeling of impatience, you're introducing more of the contrary thought. So just hang in there and enjoy the experience of clarifying your vibration. Everybody wants this. This is a journey you really, 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 really want. You all want clear vibration. Do you know, one who is connected to that pure positive energy is more powerful than millions who are not? And do you realize you don't quite yet, but you will? How simple it is to offer a singular vibration. All you got to do is stop doing the but part, train to weigh the pros and the cons and the pluses and the minuses. So many people have been clamoring for your agreement with what they think and your desire to please them by giving them agreement with what they think has got all of you full of split energy. Don't you want to say to the next person that tries to convince you of something, hey, pretty happy in my thoughts about this? What are your thoughts about that? Well, I don't think I'm going to tell you because I sense a conversion coming on.